Joe Joyce has been mandated to fight Agit kabeyel for the European Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Remstar Says So. Get right into this one, people. Joe the Juggernaut Joyce is now the mandatory challenger to Agit kabeyel. Joe Joyce, in 8 fights, has won the WBA made up gold heavyweight championship. He's also the Commonwealth champion, and he's now the mandatory for the European championship. Now, for me, this is a great fight for Joe Joyce. I think I might have been a little bit too heavy on the Joe Joyce criticism in his last fight against Bermain Stavern. And I think the major reason why is because we can't afford to dick around and wait for Joe Joyce to go through the levels. The man's 34 years old. He's going to have one world title shot against either AJ or Wilder, and then that's going to be him done. He'll be a journeyman the next day and probably retire the week after that. Joe Joyce waited far too long to get into professional boxing, and yeah, we can't afford for Joe Joyce to go through the fucking motions like everybody else in comparison to maybe a Daniel Dubois who Frank Warren is just slowly but surely taking his time. Joe Joyce, we ain't got no time to wait, mate. Like Joe, you're cracking on, mate. Like you need to get up, you need to get on with it. Joe Joyce will be 34 years old in September. That makes him a month older than Deontay Wilder. And look how many fights Wilder's had in comparison. Joe Joyce needs to be ironing out guys every 2 to 3 months to get that professional ring experience so he can sort of mount a title challenge in the next sort of 12 months, 18 at a push before he needs a fucking walking stick. Um, but yeah, this is a great fight for me. Ajit Kabiyel, I don't really know what happened to this geezer. I remember watching him win that vacant European title against Derek Chisora back in November 2017. And I just remember thinking to myself, boy, he was quite fortunate to face such a shit Derek Chisora. Um, and he hasn't really pushed on since then. Looking at his record, he's only fought twice since Chisora, once in April of 2018 and then March this year. So, you have to really wonder what the fuck this guy's been doing with himself. You're the European champion. You should be fighting 2, 3, possibly 4 times a year to try and get yourself pushed up the rankings. But no, if you're Ajit Kabiyel, once a year is fine. I'm sure his promoter's getting him loads of money. But yeah, that's a completely different story. What can I say about Joe Joyce? Um, you know, it is what it is. He didn't look amazing against Bermain Stavern, but he still took him out in 6 rounds. And this is taking out a former world champion in your eighth professional fight in 6 rounds. I think maybe myself, as well as a lot of other sort of boxing fans and pundits, like maybe we just expect too much from this guy. Like who else in their eighth professional fight was taking out a former world champion in 6 rounds? Like I can't think of anybody. Nobody sort of comes to mind. Not AJ, not Wilder, probably not Tyson, definitely not Fury. Like I don't know. Like he's on a good trajectory, but I think maybe we've been a bit too tough on him. This is a good fight. This will be a good measuring stick. I would expect Joe Joyce to come through Cabial, and I'd expect him to win by a knockout as well. Cabial did look fairly sturdy against Derek Chisora, but this was before Derek Chisora was sort of knocked down and remade by David Hay. I would expect Joe Joyce to win this fight just because Joe Joyce has been active. When you look at Joe Joyce, 2018, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in 2018. Ajit Kabiel had one. Joe Joyce has already fought in 2019, and he's got a date booked for May 18th on the what I believe will be the Deontay Wilder undercard, because we do know that Joe Joyce is now being advised by Al Heyman So don't be surprised if you see him pop up on that undercard there. He was on the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury undercard, and you could probably see him like sort of getting on a lot of undercards for the likes of Terence Crawford, for the likes of Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Deontay Wilder, all those big PBC fighters. I think that Joe Joyce will just control the jab. I think he'll work him. He'll hit him with a few slow combinations. But I think he's just going to be too much for Kabeyel. I think Kabeyel, I really think the reason why he's not taking his boxing too seriously is because I think he knows he's reached the pinnacle of his career. Agit Kabeyel is a European fighter at best. And I just don't think he really wants to mix it with the top guys. I think Joe Joyce will iron him out. And I will make a prediction of 9 rounds or less. And this is way before the fight even happens. We don't know if Joe Joyce will take this fight, but I'd like to think that he will. Um, you know, but is the money going to be there? You're challenging a guy. Purse splits will probably be 75-25 in Kabeyel's favor. Could Al Heyman go out and get Joe Joyce a better fight somewhere else with better money? Most likely. But I'd like to see the fight regardless. Joe Joyce can add it to his collection of other pointless belts with the WBA gold belt and the Commonwealth belt. What can I say? It is what it is. You guys, let me know your thoughts. Are you excited for this one? If it's in America, is this the sort of fight that you can see yourself staying up to watch, or waking up early to watch? Do you think it should be in the UK? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment, share this video. That's the end of the show because Rem Star says so.